definitely. So let me show you. You love you some tier lists. Okay, Math Champ is missing. I don't know. Burst Laser 2s. It's definitely gonna be up there now. I like I said, I started the tier list. I've not done a stream like this before, so the format of the stream might be a little funky. But let me show so far what I put together. It's going to be, prepare your eyes, because it's the very bright screen. I don't know if I can change this from being a bright white screen. Is there a different format you can do for, this is just a Google Docs spreadsheet. I don't know if there's a way to make this thing dark mode or something, because this is freaking bright. Press F for basic ion. What is the highest rated ship and why is it the red tail? All right, we do this. So far what I've done is I just started putting in things. We're going to just have to put in a bunch of weapons here, and I got to a point where I wasn't sure. We're going to have to like discuss and maybe get y'all's feedback for stuff. But basically what I'm doing is doing the lasers first. So we have laser, the weapon, the type of weapon laser, the charge time of it, the damage of it, and the number of shots. DPS is there. Oh my gosh. Subscription. T-Bone Jenks, thank you for 3 months in a row. My friend, appreciate it. So I'm using a bit of a formula for some of these things. So DPS equals number of shots times the damage, so F times G, divided by the charge time. So DPS is 0.1, so I guess it's 0.1 damage per second, and that's what the numbers are. Then I did power required, and as I was putting this together, I was thinking, you know what, just DPS isn't the only stat we want to know. I probably want to know damage per power, because high power weapons are going to have high DPS, but is it worth the power as much as a low power one? So I did a formula for damage per power, which is basically the DPS divided by the power. So what'd you miss? Not a Satanist? I literally just started. I'm just kind of describing how I'm putting this tier list together. And then we have Fire Chance, Breach Chance, Sun Chance. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this in as part of math anywhere. That just might be something that I consider, or maybe add a bit if I want to do like a ranking, do like the damage per power, and then, because like when we get to fire beams and stuff, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to put numbers on it because it doesn't actually do any damage. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And then there's rarity and then cost. Some of these stats I'm not really going to take into account for my tier list as much as other people would. What's up, Spectre? Where are my lenses? I'm not wearing glasses today because I'm doing singing. I did singing stuff this morning, and I'm doing singing stuff later. So I just don't have them on. I'm doing pretty good, Zeddy Prime. Zeddy Prime, I'm doing pretty good. So so far, what's interesting, this is just the lasers. I've only put in laser. I haven't even finished. I got to chain burst laser, which has a variable charge time, and so I want to discuss how we're going to rate that. But I've already noticed a couple things. So basically, DPS and damage per power, I think it's the higher the number, the better it is. So you take a basic laser. It's got 0.1 DPS. It does 1 damage every 10 seconds. You look at dual lasers, it's already double the amount of DPS and double the amount of damage per power. So dual lasers basically twice as good as dual lasers. Now, once you get into burst laser 1s, 2s, and 3s, you start getting some interesting numbers. So burst laser 1 is only slightly less DPS than the dual lasers, but it's less than half the damage per power. Or I guess this should probably be DPS per power, right? Since it's DPS. Yeah, let me actually change this. It's not damage per power, it's DPS per power. So it's damage per second per power. So you can already see that burst laser 1 is less than half as good as dual lasers when it comes for DPS per power. Burst laser 2 is already way better DPS than these other things, but it's not quite as much DPS per power as a dual laser, but it is more DPS. So it's this is already getting some cool, interesting numbers here. Maybe I should limit my format so it's limited to 2 decimals. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. How do I do that? You have to tell me how to do that. If I do shift click down to here and I'm not the best at spreadsheets, so is there a rounding? How do I round? How do I custom number format? How about this? Is there like a way to limit decimals? Burst Laser 3 doesn't have fire chance. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I'm pretty sure did I get that right? Maybe I might have misclicked on that. Under the number tab. Well, under number, what? Currency rounded? I mean, maybe it's financial if I do financial. Okay, there we go. Financial seems to work. So let's do that. This is, I don't know if this is going to be enough things here, but format number. If I do financial. Well, I don't think it's rounding though. It's not like, so this should be like scientific or number. Let me try format number. Let me try scientific. What does that look like? I don't like that at all. Just number. Okay. Well, it's not like, it's not rounding though, because I think that was like 0.099 or something, right? Let me see here. I go back to normal and automatic. So it should be like 0.091. Okay. All right. I guess it's like, because it's going to be 0.7. This 0.065 should be 0.07 if it rounds, right? Format number 0.07. Okay. We'll go with that. That works. So we'll do that to there. Format number. So that rounds it up there. Rounds up or down. Are you going to take into account how good something is at taking out shields or extra mischance? Well, we're going to talk about that. Not a Satanist promise. We'll talk about that. You can change the number of decimal places as well. We'll go with this. I think this will work. So we already got some interesting numbers. Burst Laser's DPS is better, is not quite as good as Dual Lasers. Burst Laser 2's DPS is better than Dual Laser's DPS, but it's less DPS per power. Burst Laser 3, I think you're right. I think I was looking, here's the sheet I was using as my reference. Burst Laser 3 has 0 fire chance. So you're right, I messed that up there. So that should be 0%. Okay. So, and what I want to do is after we put in everything, I kind of want to sort some things different ways if we can. But the first snag I came up to is there's a couple things. First of all, Hole Smasher lasers do 1 damage to system rooms, but 2 damage to systemless rooms. So I think the best way to get a comparison is to do the numbers on each weapon by what is its maximum. So Hole Smasher laser, I put that it does 2 damage for 2 shots. That actually puts its DPS as slightly higher than Burst Laser 2, and it even puts its DPS per power slightly better than Burst Laser 2. I feel like this won't skew things too much, but we might just have to like make a special note of that or something. How am I gonna rate Beam's DPS? I'm basically the way I'm doing this is I'm gonna say what's the maximum damage or DPS a weapon can do during the boss, against the boss. I think that's the best way to do it. So Halberd Beam can hit 4 rooms on the boss. Glade Beam can hit 4 rooms. I think Pike Beam hit 6 and all that kind of stuff. So it is hard to do number-wise, I know. But, you know, maybe we make a column for system damage. That I'm not sure about. I'm kind of thinking what I'm going to do is count like system and ion damage by like half or something. But I'm not sure yet. But the first snag I hit, the Hole Smasher laser, I'm doing basically the most damage it can do against the boss. So it does 3 shots. Each shot does 2 damage for Hole Smasher laser 2. So its DPS is 0.4, which is actually the highest DPS so far, but not the highest DPS per power. So far, the highest DPS per power is actually Heavy Laser 1. Big surprise, Heavy Laser 1 super good. Consider how well it deals with shields. Yes, I know y'all are all making great points. However, I'm not going to be able to take into account every factor if I just want to get some numbers on it. So what I'm doing is, if the boss has no shields, what's the maximum amount of damage a weapon can do? So this is basically a tier list of weapons at their maximum potential. Let's call it that. So Chain Burst Laser, this was the first one I'm not sure about because the charge time is variable. Yeah, no shields, no dodge, basically. So Chain Burst Laser, charge time starts at 16 seconds and then goes down to 7 seconds. I was thinking that probably I should do like an average of that, but then I thought if we're going to do it by maximum damage, probably what I should just do is say it at its max cooldown or its fastest cooldown. So that would be 7 seconds at its fastest cooldown. So I guess we're going to do a 7-second charge time. It does 1 damage, 2 shots. And what does that do to its DPS? It is slightly better DPS than a Burst Laser 2. And it's 2 power. And its DPS per power is slightly better than Burst Laser 2. Since we're in the spirit of a factor, we should have fun rating too. I don't know what that means. As max cooldown isn't really a good representation. Well, how would you do this then, Chaotic Neutral? How would you do this? How are we going to get actual numbers on something if we don't set how we're judging it? Because I don't know how to make a spreadsheet that has multiple variables that changes over time. I don't know how to do that. I'm not good enough at math to do that. My plan isn't to make a spreadsheet that's the most mathematically complex thing that's going to give us the most perfect numbers ever. It's just to get an idea. So what I think we need to do to at least get some idea of numbers is what is the maximum amount of damage a weapon can do if there are no shield or dodge. So you would set a time for the fight. Say the time is maybe 25 seconds. I don't want to do that. I don't. So then what would you do? You would do like how much damage you would do in a set amount of time if there were no shields and no dodge. Then what would then you do with variable charge weapons? You'd have to average out the charge time over that time. I don't know. I think that's getting too complex. I think it's just getting too complex. If somebody wants to try to do the math on that, like what would the change burst laser's charge time be averaged out over a 45-second fight? Do the math. I can't do it. I think we're just going to do it. This is at full spin. I'm going to we'll make it even a note about it. So chain burst laser at full charge. I'm just going to make a note of that. The only thing in FTL that has no shields and no dodge is when Rand wanted to look at Gibbs before and you made the Gibbs mod. There you go. So, and then I think this one has fire chance. Chain burst has... Now, what's weird is I haven't actually looked at this thing before. They don't have the numbers on some of these weapons. Like, they don't actually have this list with the chain weapons. So, laser charger, and chain Vulcan and chain burst laser. They don't actually show the... I guess low chance of fire means 10%. But it's weird to me that they don't actually have that list there. But so I'm assuming chain burst laser low chance of fire is 10% like the others. So I'm going to do 10%, then 0, 0. Cost is 65 scrap. I was also thinking of doing a column that's DPS per cost. I wonder if that will be worth, but some of them would be NA because you can't buy them. But yeah, that would be an interesting stat. I might add that too. Is the plan to start with objective damage with no shields and no dodge and then subjectively discuss other factors? Yes, Yugnori, that's kind of what I was going to do. Isn't DPM better than DPS representation? Well, since the charge time is in seconds, I mean, I guess maybe. So what would I do? I would times the DPS by 60, I guess, to see what it would be damage per minute. I don't know. That to me, that's kind of... You can multiply that by 60, I guess. I don't find that super useful. All right, so next would be chain Vulcan, and we're going to do, again, at full charge. This one's going to be off the charts if we do it as full charge, but... so charge time of chain Vulcan goes to 1.1 second. And it does 1 damage, 1 shot. It requires 4 power. And I think this is also low chance of fire, so 10%. 0, 0, and I think it's 90 scrap. 95 scrap. So far, that is by far the highest DPS, chain Vulcan at full charge, which makes sense. DPS per power actually puts it at the highest at full charge, the highest DPS per power so far. What's up, Scottish Mega? You like the approach? You thought it was going to be just on gut feel, nice to see considering the merits in some kind of maths way. That's and we're not going to be able to take into every consideration. So I think the best way to do this is what is the theoretical best amount of damage each weapon can do and go from there. I think that's the only way to really do it. You think DPM makes more sense for the chain stuff? People can do it themselves. If one part of the equation is in seconds, the other part must be in seconds. Yeah. So chain Vulcan already freaking OP as hell, but you know we'll talk about the pros and cons of that later on as well. So let's look at next is the laser charger. This is the one that can't be bought. So this is laser charger. It's weird. There's a laser charger S and laser charger M. I don't know what they're using the S for, but we're gonna say laser charger. Is that S for small or what? I don't know what that means. So laser charge time. I'm gonna put this as, again, theoretical max damage. I'm gonna put it as 11-second cooldown to get the 2 shots. Or I could do it at 1 second, 1 shot at 5.5 seconds. I guess either way works. Let's do it what its maximum would be, which would be 2 shots at 11 seconds. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the math. So 11 seconds, 1 damage for 2 shots. That's the one with 1 power, right? Yeah, that's the 1 power one. And then this one has low fire chance. So 10, 0, 0. And then we're putting NA because you can't buy that weapon. Call the stealthy one laser charger plus. Okay, sure. That sounds good. Because the plus because it only takes 1 power. Let's see. Are you going to do weapons only or other things? I'm going to do a ship. I started a ship tier list too. I haven't put nearly as much work. This one will be way easier because I'm just going to put like the starting weapons, system augments and stuff. That's going to be way easier than this one because there's no math involved in that one. But if I do it after the weapons one, we can take in some of the weapons consideration for that one too. So let's look at the laser charger, how this one's number stacks up. So it's actually same DPS as a burst laser 1, but it's got twice the DPS per power, of course. So it's actually, I was actually kind of wondering about this. Laser charger is slightly less DPS than dual lasers because the charge time is just slightly slower. So that is kind of interesting. All right, so then we have the laser, and then we'll just do the laser. I thought this one was called the charged laser. I thought one was called charger laser and one was laser charger, but I guess we'll just call this one the laser charger, normal charger, not plus. Don't put the plus. So there, laser. Is this the same charge time? Oh, this one's actually slightly, wait. Oh, this one, okay, so 6, this one's slower actually, so 6 seconds, so 12 seconds, 1 damage each, 2 shots at 2 power. So this is going to make the laser charger like probably feel really crappy. And then fire chance. And then cost on this one is 55 scrap. Okay, and then we have the laser charger 2. What did they call it? They called it the L? That's weird. I'm going to call it the laser charger 2, I guess. What do they call it in game? What they call it, like charge laser 2 or something? I forget what they call it. And this one we're gonna do the max charge as well. So that's 5 seconds times 4, so 20 seconds. 20-second charge time, 1 damage for 4 shots for 3 power. I'm gonna. What I'm really looking forward to is after I put everything is doing some sorting by DPS and DPS per power. I'm looking forward to doing that. And I think this has low fire chance as well. 0 or 10%, 0, 0, and cost is 70 scrap. Charge laser 2 is what they call it. In game, it's charge 2, charge laser 2. Let's try to call it what it's called in game. So I think that means that would be charge laser 2, and I think that means this one is just called the charge laser. I guess I could call it 1. No, stop autofilling, damn thing. Let's call it charge laser 1, charge laser 2, and then the laser charge is the one you can't buy. You should make a custom chip that has a charge laser infinity. There you go. Okay, so I think that's all the laser weapons. That even includes the pierce laser, which was interesting to compare to the heavy laser 1. Because it's slower, 1 extra power, but it has the added effect of piercing shield. So I might need to do an extra extra things to consider or something, but I'm not going to do that right now. Will I add Flak? Oh yeah, we're doing Flaks next. I'm thinking. All right, so there's lasers. Let's do Flaks next. That's all the lasers. Flaks are next. Okay. And there's only 3 of them, so this will be a quick one. So first one will be, we'll do the advanced Flak first. Advanced Flak type Flak. Charge time is what, 10 seconds on that? Oh, it's only freaking 8 seconds. This thing is going to be so overpowered. 1 damage for 3 shots. 60 scrap, and there's no fire or breach chance, is that right? Do no Flacs have fire or breach? That I'm not sure about. I never really thought about that, but I don't think they have fire or breach chance, if I'm not mistaken. 1 power. So 0, 0, 0, and NA can't buy it. Will I be sharing the spreadsheet? Absolutely. That's one of the main reasons I'm making this tray, Troy. I want to make this, and then I'm going to spread. I'm going to share. I'm going to create a link, and I'm going to put a command in the chat and all that stuff, so it'll be shareable. So, widely regarded as the best weapon in the game. Does it say that on here? Oh, it does. Yeah. Let's look at the numbers. DPS. Only weapon that's higher DPS is a fully spun up Vulcan so far. Damage per power. It's even better than the Vulcan. So, yeah, it's already you can see some cool numbers on this thing. So let's see. Flak 1 charge time is 10 seconds. 1 damage, 3 shots, 2 power. And then 0, 0, 0. And then I should have this memorized. 65 scrap for that. That's right, 65 scrap. Mini Beam would like a word with you. Well, yeah, we haven't put Mini Beam in, so Mini Beam. For beams though, Math Champ, again, I'm gonna do it by like the max number of rooms you can hit on the boss, and I don't think I want to take into account things like cheeky swipes. Is that what Scott Winsey Wilson calls it, where you like make it so that you hit a room twice? I'm thinking I'm gonna max out the Mini Beam at 3. Because I don't think on the boss there's any way to get 4. I know there are some ships along the way you can get 4, but I think I'm going to say Mini Beam is maxed out at 3, but we'll have to see. And then Flak 2. What I am curious about is DPS of the Flak 2 compared to Flak 1. That's one thing I'm actually really excited to check here. This is 21-second charge time, right? 21 seconds, 7 shots. 21 seconds, 1 damage, 7 shots, or 3 power. And 0, 0, 0, and it costs 80. So let's compare this Flak 1 and Flak 2. It's slightly more DPS than Flak 1, the Flak 2 is, but it's less DPS per power, which is kind of interesting to me. So it is. Here we have some numbers to put for people who like, well, which is better, Flak 1 or Flak 2? Well, we can now say that actually Flak 2 is slightly better DPS, but for the amount of power, it's not actually as good efficiency there, I guess. So, all right, well, that's the Flax. That was easy. Okay, so next look at, let's go ahead and do missiles. We'll do missiles next. Are you going to place any value on the Han Solo factor, aka shooting first before enemy? When I do my ranking, 100%. Should we do this? Because I'm going to take in speed. Like faster weapons are going to have a higher ranking, most likely, if other stats are equal. And also, I'm going to take into account synergy with other weapons, you know, and ease of getting other weapons online, that kind of thing. Can we do a separate weapon list for when enemies use missiles? Sure. All right, so we're going to start with the Lido missile. I'm just going to call it by just Lido. So, missile. Charge time on Lido is 9 seconds for 1 damage, for 1 shot, for 1 power, and it has... it says low, low, low. I assume that's 10, 10, 10 on that. And this is something you can't buy. Tier list versus enemies. There you go. So this Lido is slightly better than a basic laser in stat-wise. What's interesting is the worst stat weapon so far, by a long shot, is basic laser. But what is also interesting is there's actually a weapon that has worse DPS per power than the basic laser. There's 2 of them, Burst Laser 1 and Burst Laser 3, and Charge 1. There's a couple of weapons that have worse DPS per power than a basic laser. That's funny to me. I would never have thought about that. How does the fire weapons go in this one? I'm not sure, Goulars. We're gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna rate fire and breach chance too. I'm not. That's gonna go into fire bombs and stuff. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do that. All right, next is Artemis, which is like twice as good as Lido. Missile. This one is, was it 10-second charge time? 11-second charge time. 11-second, 2 damage, 1 shot, 1 power, right? 1 power, and then low, low, low. 10, 10, 10, and then you can't buy this guy. Worst DPS per power is probably Repair Burst. Maybe. Burst Laser 3 worse than a basic laser in one stat. Of course, you have to take into account shields and all that, but in actual DPS per power, a bunch of there are actually worse weapons than basic laser that I would not have considered. So, will I factor in pre-igniter reloader bonuses? Not sure, Troy. Probably not. I might make special mention of those, but we're not going to talk about this Artemis variant because that is the one that the enemy can have. You can't have that. So next will be Hermes. Hermes you can buy, right? I think you can buy Hermes. Hermes missile charge time on that is 14 seconds. It does 3 damage with 1 shot. And it is 2 power, right? Hermes is 3 power? Oh, it's whole missile, that's 2 power. Okay, so 3 power. And then this has, Hermes has low, low, and low. So 10, 10, 10. And cost is 45. We have to factor in drones as well. I'm not getting into drones. This is only weapons tier list. Maybe we'll do another tier list for drones. I don't know about that, though. You thought the worst DPS per power was hull repair. You'd rather have a burst laser 1 than a basic laser, though. True. Yeah, for sure. But it's funny to see this stat. Somebody said Hermes ended up being like the best weapon for something. I wonder what they were talking about. DPS-wise, it's pretty good, but damage per power-wise, it's worse than a basic laser, actually. DPS per power because it's slower speed. Pretty interesting. All right, so Hermes. Next is Breech Missile. Breech Missile is a missile. Charges in... Am I spelling missile right? I think I am. Charges in 22 for 4 damage. 22 seconds, 4 damage, 1 shot. For 3 power, I believe. Is that right? 3 power, yeah. So, wow. Wow, look at the freaking DPS per power. That's terrible. And then this is low, high, low. So does anybody know the actual breach chance percentage? Anybody know? Hermes missile is the best weapon at ending runs. When it says high, is that 100%? Is it guaranteed to get a breach, or is it like 90%? I don't actually know because it doesn't tell me here. 65 scrap is the cost. Vulcan becomes much better with pre-igniter. That should probably be a factor for the tier list. You think it's like 80%? The breach chance percentage when you're at the club is 100%. Okay, that's great to hear. Let me see if it's under high chance of breach. I don't know the actual numbers here. I'm going to put it at like 90 because I'm just going to guess. And if somebody comes in and knows the actual number, I'll change it. I don't know the actual number because it's not on the wiki. So, all right, so that's breach. Next is hull missile. Hull missile is a missile. It charges in 17 seconds. And we're going to do that this damage is 4, right? Because it's double damage on empty rooms. We're going to do 4. So 17 seconds, 4 damage, 1 shot for 2 power. Is that right? Yeah. And then low, low, low. So 10, 10, 10. And it costs 65. You can buy hull missile, right? I think you can. It's 80% if you allow me to post a link. Oh, you're a mod. I mean, you're a sub. You can post it. Hermes is 30, 20, 10. Same with Pegasus. Breach is 30, 80, 10. Math Champ just said 30, 80, 10. Weapon table, faster than light. Breach, yeah, 30, 80, 10. Oh, okay, so I'm getting some numbers wrong here then. Hermes is 30, 20. Well, that's weird. I guess, what table are y'all on? This table is the wrong table. I need that table that y'all just gave me. I'll have to look at that one for this list then. Hopefully I didn't get any of the lasers wrong. Okay, so let me look at that. So breach is 30, 80, 10. When are the other numbers different? Hermes was 30, 20, 10. Everything else is 10, 10, 10. Okay. 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 Hermes shoots sooner though. Yeah, Hermes is a much faster charge than Breech, so it's got higher DPS and slightly higher DPS per power. Okay, so hull missile. Next would be, well, let me look at this list just for the next one. Breech, hull. Go Pegasus next. Pegasus is a missile that has a charge time of it's 20 seconds for the full thing, right? Yeah, I think it's 20 for the full thing. So that, it'll be 4 damage. Or it's 2 damage for 2 shots. For 3 power, is that correct? Yes. And then this one is 30, 20, 10. Who actually relies on missiles to get through a game? Feel by definition of being a missile weapon cannot exceed B tier, if not C tier. We'll see. We'll see. And then cost is 60. So now this is interesting. Its DPS is lower than a hull missile hitting an empty room, and its damage DPS per power is pretty darn low. Damage per power of a Pegasus is on par with a Burst Laser 3. Wow, I thought Pegasus was better than that. I thought you were better than that, Pegasus. I guess the long charge time, maybe. Small bomb is A tier for boarding ships, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. We're going to have to figure out how I do system damage and stuff. I'm kind of thinking we do system and ion damage as count as half, but we'll get there when we get there. So, missile weapon. So that's Pegasus. Swarm is the last one. Swarm missile is a missile. Charge time for the full charge is 21, I think. 7 times 3, right? It's 21 seconds. Yeah, 7 for 3. This is the full potential one. Number of shots. So it's 1 damage, 3 shots for 2 power. And it is... Swarm is 10, 10, 10. Is there a stun chance? Looks like no stun chance, so actually 0% stun chance. And then cost for this is 65. Interesting. So Swarm Missile and Pegasus, both DPS per power is worse than Burst Laser 2. I guess they're valuing the fire and breach chance and the shield piercing capability. So remember that the 2 power Artemis is only available for enemies. Player always uses 1 power. Yes. Hey, what's up, Brasco Cat? Good to see you, my friend. All right, so that is all the missiles that the player can get. Again, I'm not going to add in, like, you know, boss missile and other stuff that the player can't use because that would be pointless. So, okay, so that's missiles. Let's look at, let's do beams next. I want to save bombs and ions for last, since we're going to have to discuss how we're going to rate ion damage and stuff. So let's do beams next. I feel like this will be a little easier to put numbers on. Boss missile, definitely S tier. That's right. Alrighty, mini beam, the best beam weapon. So charge time on mini beam is 12 seconds. Okay, how do we want to do damage? Do I want to do it that it's 1 damage and then how many rooms it hits? Yeah, I think I want to do it that way, because then Halberd would be 2 damage, then how many rooms. So 1 damage, and I'm gonna say number of shots is gonna be, let me put a in parentheses thing here. I shouldn't have. Can I unmerge these? Unmerge these? Now let's just do this. I'm gonna do number of shots and in parentheses say rooms hit for beams, if that makes sense. And double click on number of shots or rooms hit. It'd be better if I could put that underneath that, but I'm not doing artillery. No, artillery, I'm not. Artillery is way worse than any of these weapons. But no, that's not exactly true. But no, I'm not going to take into account that. All right. That's actually way too wide. I don't want to do that for now. So for mini beam, I'm going to say the max you can hit on the boss is 3, right? Pretty sure it's 3. And that's only 1 power. And then is there, I think there's a fire chance on that, isn't there? Low chance of fire. Again, somebody check my numbers if this is wrong, but I'm going to put 1000 because I think that's right. And then NA, you can't buy it. So let's look at this DPS, 0.25. It's actually not as high as Hull Smasher when you're only hitting 3 rooms. Now, what I will say, what we'll have to keep taking into consideration is mini beam is higher DPS on a few. There are a few, like there's that Rebel ship that's got the 5 or 6 rooms on the right side that I think can get a 4 beam swipe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a 4 swipe on the boss with the mini beam. Can I unmerge this? How do I do that? Because I merged it before. I don't know how to unmerge it. I don't know. I'm bad at. I don't do this stuff that often. Interesting thing that mini beam has fire chance. Yeah, there's a 4 swipe on one of the rebel ships. Yeah, there's on some of the rebel ships. There will be on the boss fight, which is kind of the thing we're using as our control. That's what we're gonna do. So Pike Beam is next. Pike Beam. Charge time is what, 16 on that? 16 seconds. 1 damage. Now Pike Beam, what is it, like 1, 2, 3? I think Pike Beam can easily get 6. I don't know if there's a 7 swipe. These numbers, if people can show valid tests that change what I'm putting here, I'm going to say 6 because I don't, off the top of my head, know how many rooms it can hit against the boss, but I think 6. So I'm going to go with 6 for 2 power, and that actually puts its stats of DPS higher than a mini beam on the boss, lower DPS per power against the boss, which is interesting. Pike Beam does not have fire chance or anything like that, so that's going to be 0, 0, 0, and it costs 55 scrap. Yeah, there's crystal weapons. We're going to put the crystal weapons, too, so. All right, so that's Pike Beam. Next will be Halberd Beam, which should be frickin' S tier kind of thing, but let's look at the stats. I think it's 17-second charge time. It's crazy, it's only 1 extra second. For that. So that's 2 damage per room. And then I know you can hit, guaranteed you can hit 4. I'm pretty sure there's no 5 swipe on the boss. We're going to do that. You can hit 4 for 3 power. Now, what's interesting, again, higher DPS than Pike Beam, but actually lower DPS per power than Pike Beam, which is interesting. And Halberd Beam has no fire or breach or anything. And then Halberd Beam is 65 scrap. Hey, what's up, Nietzsche? Select the big cell, then a symbol above all the cells will become green. Symbol above this one? Aha! Thank you. We're going to change this to rooms swiped. Or rooms... Yeah, we'll go swiped so that it's known that we're talking about beam weapons there. All right, now here we have our first. Let's do that one next. Let's do Holo Beam. Holo Beam, because I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna do fire yet. Holo Beam is 14-second charge time. So we can do. We're gonna say 2 damage because we're gonna go theoretical maximum amount of damage. 2 damage. How many rooms can a Holo Beam hit on the boss? Can it hit 5? I know it's not as long as a Pike Beam, but I think it's long enough. I think Brittanoff said yesterday that it can do 9, 9, and 8 damage for the boss. So I think there's a swipe that does 4 empty rooms and 1 system room. So I can't actually do that with the way I'm doing it. Well, actually I can. If I do 2.5 rooms swiped. Would that be the right math? That would be 5 rooms, right? Because it'd be no, I mean 4.5. Actually, I might need to be 2.25. Because basically we're doing 2 damage a room. If I say that we're hitting 4 rooms, no, that wouldn't work. Because that would only be the 8. That would only be 8 damage. We need to do 9 damage. So 4.33 then. Say 1.5 damage per room. Would that work? Because basically we want it to equal 9. So what would 1.5 times 4 equal 9? Again, I'm bad at math. Calculator. 1.5 times 4. What? 1.5 times 4 equals 6. 2 times 4.5. 2 times 4.5 equals 9. There we go. We're going to do that. 2, 4.5 rooms. There it is. Again, I'm bad at math. Sorry. Spreadsheet stream. That's right. A factoid spreadsheet stream. There we go. So 2 damage, 4.5 rooms gives us 9 damage. That's only on phase 1 and phase 2, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But that actually means Holo Beam, stat-wise, is the best beam that we've put in here so far. I haven't put Glade Beam yet, so... Holo Beam, no fire, so 0, 0, 0. And it costs 70. Should set my current game as Google Sheets. Well, I had to set it for creative, which is kind of cool. I've never done a creative stream before. Glade Beam. Glade Beam. Beam. 25 seconds is right? Yeah, 25-second charge time. 3 damage per room. And I believe it's always a max of 4 against the boss here. So 4 for 4 power. Is that right? 4 for 4 power. 3 damage per room. 4 power. 25 seconds. Yes. And then no fire or... No fire or anything else. 0, 0, 0. Cost 95. So now what's interesting is Glade Beam is actually less DPS than Holo Beam as well. And it is, of the beam weapons, the worst DPS per power. Now that is pretty funny. The worst DPS per power so far is Glade Beam. You added Outlook to Steam once as a game to play. Okay, so now we got to figure out these other beams. We're not doing Boss Beam, we're not doing Artillery Beam, Anti-Biobeam, and Fire Beam. So how are we going to do damage on these guys? Charge time for Fire Beam is 20 seconds. So what do we do for damage here? What I was kind of thinking to do is have like fire chance and fire damage and system damage and ion damage each count for like half a damage. What do y'all think? How's there a way to put numbers on this? There's actual no kidding pseudo flight sim game hidden in XL95. Interesting. How would we put numbers on fire or breach? Because ion does no damage, but it does take a system offline. So I kind of feel like we do it as 0.5. That's like the only way I can think of to put numbers. But I don't know if there's another, if anybody has a better idea to put numbers on this. So if anyone's got better ideas, I'm going to put 0.5 on damage. Now, number of shots, you can start up to, what, 2 or 3 fires per room, and you can hit up to like 5 or 6 rooms. So damage to system per second. I don't know how to calculate that. Maybe extra column for crew damage. I don't know. I feel like there might actually need to be a separate spreadsheet for these. I almost want these to be like not part of the thing, but I feel like I can't just leave them off. You have to experiment to find the actual damage for swipe. Firebeam does 8 damage to every system. I think this is, I'm going to put like an asterisk, I think, next to some of these guys. I'm going to put like a, do like asterisks. No hull damage. Something like that. Yeah, I'm just going to put an asterisk next to things like fire beams and anti-biobeam, stuff like that. Wouldn't system damage be better than ion damage? Because system damage makes it offline forever unless repaired. Well, yeah, but how do you put a number on that? How long does it take to burn down 1 level of a system times by chance of fire time by possible squares hit? Yeah, let's do that math real quick. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make up some numbers. I'm going to say it's 0.5 damage because it's, you know, fire can eventually do hull damage. I'm going to say probably the maximum number of fires you're going to get is like 6 per swipe. This is, I'm going to put asterisks by these. These are not going to be really in the consideration probably for, you know, S tier weapons. And fire chance is what? It's like 80% or something. I don't actually know what the fire chance is, but I'm going to say 80. 0, 0, and it cost 50. Heal bomb would do negative damage. Yeah, that's right. And then the other one is the Anti-Biobeam, which we're going to do the same thing here. Just because I don't want to leave them off the list. Maybe one day we'll figure out a better way to do this. So charge time for Anti-Biobeam is 16 seconds. This, I feel like, would even be less than Firebeam. I'm going to do like 0.25 for only doing bio damage or something. But you can hit up to like, I don't know, 6 crew. You know, I'm just kind of making up numbers here because this, I just don't know. You can really get a good ranking for these. 2 power, 16 seconds, 0 fire chance, 0 breach, 0 stun. It has 0 of everything. What a great weapon Anti-Biobeam is. Nobody knows how long full fires can take to burn down a level 1 system. I think you'd have to say the beam itself does 0 damage. The fire does do damage, there's a small chance it starts 0 fires. Yeah, but we're doing theoretical max amount factoid, so that's kind of how I'm doing that. It's like theoretical max amount. Their numbers are going to be super low even with the way we have it. I mean, maybe 0.5 is too much. Every room it hits, it has a potential to do damage to that room. But it takes so long that I think I'm just going to leave it like this. You have to leave, you ignore it. Am I posting this on YouTube? Yes, I'm going to post this entire video on YouTube. I'm going to make 2 videos if I have time. I don't know if I have time to do both this ship and this one, so I'm not going to give a heavy laser a boost in damage stat because it starts fires. Factoid, I was actually thinking about that. I was thinking about somehow using math to allow these things to add something to the DPS. I'm not exactly sure how I would do that. I was thinking of like adding a point or something. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but that's all the beam weapons. Let's move on. We're never gonna get every single thing perfect here. So let's just go on to the crystal weapons next. So crystal weapons next. Crystal, was it Burst Mark 1? I think it was called. It was called Crystal Burst Mark 1. 2 shots, 1 damage. But yeah, I'm gonna post this on YouTube, and then the spreadsheet I'll make available for people. So crystal ball, crystal, and we'll call this a crystal weapon. Hello. Theoretical max is that you can cripple entire flagship with a single basic laser hit. Yeah, there you go. That's the theoretical max. Crystal Burst Mark 1, 2 shots, 1 damage at 15 seconds. 15 seconds. 1 damage. 2 shots. Power required 2. Is that right? 2 power. Yeah. And is this buyable? Are these things buyable in the crystal sector? Do they have a breach chance? Low breach chance. I assume that's 10. They are buyable in crystal. Okay, then I will put these as a buyable weapon. Is it really 20? Can you really get this one in the crystal sector? I feel like this one might not be buyable. Maybe 10% fire equals 0.1 damage. Yeah, maybe we'll come up with something like that. With the lockdown bomb scar at the absolute bottom. Yeah, I'm thinking lockdown and stun bomb are going to be like 2 of the worst weapons in the game. Yeah, I just don't know if this one's buyable. I'll put that in there. That's fine. So Crystal Burst Mark 1, Crystal Burst Mark 2. This is the one that's only in the crystal sector. I guess the Mark 2. Okay. I think the other crystal weapons are, but I don't know if all of them are, so. Crystal Burst Mark 2, 3 shots, 17-second cooldown, 1 damage, 3 shots for 3 power. This thing is not good at all. You'd think the most rare weapon in the game would actually have some decent stats on it. Low breach chance of 0, 10, 0. Cost 20? Does it really only cost 20 as well? I think just put an NA because you'll almost never get a crystal shop. Maybe. Am I including any type of multiplier for shield piercing? No, Ganja, not. I haven't taken that into consideration either. Okay, Heavy Crystal Mark 1. And like I said, I've said this multiple times, I'm not going to be able to take in every single factor of every single weapon with numbers. I'm just going to get as close as I can. So one power, 13-second charge time for 2 damage. 1 power. 0, 10, 0. These are all just listing as 20, so I don't know that they're actually viable. Oh, wait. Heavy Crystal doesn't have a breach. It has only a stun. Okay, so this should be 0 and 10 stun chance there. Oh, did you just give me Crystal Burst Rarity 1, 4, 2? Lockdown Bomb is also found in Lockdown Bomb also found in rock sectors. Crystal's gonna be targeted by defense drone, right? Yeah. Breach should have some system damage or so because they have to repair the damage of the breach. Yeah, I'm thinking of waiting fire and breach chance somehow. I don't know if I'm going to get that today. Again, everybody's got lots of really good suggestions. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the math something that everybody will always agree with. A lot of this stuff is going to be subjective. 1 shot for 4 damage in 19 seconds. Okay, 4 damage, 1 shot. For how much power? 3 power. And it has a low chance to stun, high chance to breach. Oh, wait, that crystal did have low chance of breach and a low chance to stun. Oh, all these have a low chance to stun. Whoops. Okay, so low breach, low breach. This one's high breach, low stun. So I'm guessing high breach is 80, but I don't know. So 10. And so this would be 10. And this would be 10 and 10. It's almost better to make a poll where everyone votes on weapon tiers and then compile it together into scores. Now rank the modded weapons. You're thinking 10% fire should be like 0.05, for instance, and for like Firebeam, you need to sum up all the rolls you get. Yeah, I know. Good luck. Good luck really making a list that everybody's going to agree with and all that. So that's the crystal weapons. All right, so now let's do bombs, because I think system damage might be a little easier to rate than ion damage. All right, healing burst. Healing burst. Time for bombs. All right, so charge time on the healing burst is 18 seconds. 0 damage. 1 shot. Power required is, was it 1? 1 power. 0, 0, 0. 40 scrap. Oh, I didn't look at the cost of the heavy crystal. Hold on a second, let me look that up. Crystal, heavy crystal Mark II. Okay, 20, sure. I'm telling me that's not right, but all right. Yeah. Nice thing about this list is that not every Rand will agree with it. That's right. Okay, small bomb, an actual thing that does damage. Bomb. Whoops. I didn't want to do plural bombs. There. All right, charge time on small bomb is 13 seconds. So how do we want to do damage on this? I think I kind of want to do system, fire, and ion just at like 0.5. I don't know if that's fair, but just to put a number on it, I'm going to do 0.5. Because I don't want to say it's 0 damage like the healing burst. 1. Power required is 2. Fire chance is low chance. I'm going to put 10. I don't know if that's right. Is there a sheet like this missile table for the bomb table? Laser table, ion table, beam table. Okay, so 10% is right there. Okay, good. Okay, so 0, 0. And then cost is 45. There should be crew damage just to have the fire and breach and anti-bio weapons have a little more extra value. Yeah, again, I don't know how we're going to put some of these things, numbers on them. So, all right, Firebomb. Bomb. Charge time is only 15 seconds. I thought it was longer on that. I'm going to do a 0.5. 1 shot. I wonder if I should maybe do 2 shots because it can start 2 fires. Because it can start 2 fires. Let's put it at 2. Is it possible for it to start 3? I think it can only start 2 at max, right? I'll give it 2 shots since it can maybe start 2 fires. 2 power. 100% fire chance, which is kind of interesting. Is that the only 100% fire chance, I think? There should be crew damage. Okay. And then this thing costs... Firebomb costs 50. Okay. Fire weapons also always start 1 or 2 when they start fires. Okay, so theoretical max would be 2 fires. All right, so that's Firebomb, Ion Bomb. Bomb charges in 21. 22 seconds. All right, so 22 seconds. It starts. It's 4 ion damage. So I guess what I would do is I would say it's 0.5 and it's 4 number of shots. So it does 4.5 ion damage. Ugh. I don't love these numbers, but you know what? Does it have a chance to stun? It does have a low chance to stun. Okay, so 10% chance to stun, I guess. Actually, 20% chance to stun. Interesting. Okay, Ion Bomb. 55 scrap. So Fire Beam can start a 3-tile fire in a room. Okay. Yeah, and I just kind of, for Fire Beam, I put that it can cause up to 6 fires. Again, a lot of these numbers are just not going to work. So maybe it's not worth putting them on the spreadsheet, but I just want to have all the weapons that the player can have, just because maybe one day we'll figure out a good math way of putting numbers on these things. 9 seconds. 1 power. Breach is 0 damage. I guess I'll counter Breach like a fire, maybe. I mean, Breach can't even take a system offline, so I feel like it's slightly less valuable than even fire. But I guess I'll do it at 0.5. I don't know. It can only start 1 Breach, right? 1 power, 0, 100%, 0. And it costs, over here, Breech Bomb is 50. This is complicated? Yes, it definitely is. Breech Bomb 2. Bomb. Cooldown is 17 seconds. 0.5. Oh, it does system damage too. It does do system damage. So I'm going to say Breech Bomb 2 does 3 system damage. Okay. I guess I'll do 3 there. So 0.5 would be the system damage, not the breach. I forgot that it does system damage. It just fell right out of my mind that it did that. So we'll go with that. So 0, 100, 0, and then Breech Bomb 2 is 60. Breach stalls repair while fires cause damage. Isn't Breach theoretically infinite damage on the AI ships? Sure. But I'm not going to put infinite damage for Breech Bombs. I'm just not going to do that. Okay, so Breech Bomb 2, and then Crystal Lockdown Bomb. Repair Burst, and wow, these are going to be really worthless things. Crystal Lockdown Bomb. Charge time 15 seconds. 0 damage. 1 shot. Power required is 1. And does nothing. This is going to be like this and like Heal Burst or Repair Burst would be like the worst ones. Can you even buy this? I guess maybe you can buy it in the Crystal sector. Okay, now I need to do copy and paste on some of these things. So copy. Don't have a ton more weapons, so let's do it down to here. Paste. And then this guy, copy. Nope. Copy here. Here, paste. Okay. I might make chance to track systems and normal damage in separate columns. Makes sense to do that. Yeah, maybe. Maybe if I add more columns and make this more extensive at some point. I'm not gonna do that now because I at least want to just get all the weapons on here today. All right, so Repair Burst, Bomb, charge time is 14 seconds. 0. It's actually negative damage. Repair. This is negative 8 system damage. Sorry. Did I mute myself? Sorry, I hit minus. I hit negative, so I muted. Sorry. So repair burst is actually going to be the worst thing in the game because it's going to have negative numbers there. Yeah, I hit the minus. Sorry. What did I hit here? Cost. Oh, whoops. I need to copy the format for this. So shift through here, paste. That's not what I wanted to do, but did it save the format? Okay, good. Probably a better way of doing this, but that's whatever. Okay, delete that. Delete that. Okay. So what you get for sharing FTL trade secrets? Apparently, according to Subject Games Wiki low fire chance is 20%. There's different ones, David. There's different. Some are 10, some are 20. Ion bomb. If I think I got all the numbers right for what I put on here so far, but okay, stun bomb. Stun bomb actually does ion damage, doesn't it? Stun bomb is 17 seconds. It does 1 ion damage. So we'll give it a 0.5 like we gave it the ion, but it only does 1. And it is 1 power. 1 power, 0, 0, and 100% chance to stun. And it costs 45. You meant for beam weapons. Oh, the beam weapon fire chance? Oh, let me look. I may have messed that up. Beam weapons, fire chance. On my beam table, I show mini beam has a 10% and fire beam has an 80%. Which is... Mini beam. So my mini beam is wrong here. Mini beam should actually be 20. And fire beam is 80. So I did get that one right. What? Why did you change the percentage? Is this format number percent? Oh my God, what are you doing? Why did you just change that? Do this. There. Okay. Burst laser, heavy laser 1 has a 30%. Yeah, okay. So I think I got the heavy laser changes. I think I got most everything right there. Why did they not? Yeah, so they should have. All these should have been percentages. I think they are. These ones aren't. I didn't copy and paste this actually. So let me copy and then there to there. Do that. Okay. Hey, what's up, Wooden Plank Games? You have a question. Would you happen to know what client Nietzsche uses for SE server? Nietzsche's here. You can ask Nietzsche. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. All right. So let's see. That's bombs. That's all the bombs, right? Bombs. The last thing is ions. So we'll go with what we did with ion being half a damage, I guess, just to get them on our list. So here's this. And let me get the ion thing over here. Yeah. All right. Whoops. Tier list. So ion blast. Just put 1 here. Ion charge time is 8 seconds. We're doing 0.5 on ion, and it's 1 shot, and its power is 1. And crap, I didn't do these either. Copy. There. Copy. There. I need to put stun bomb is 100% here. There we go, 100%. Okay. Would 2 ion damage be 1 then? No, I think 2. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that would be right. That's, I guess, how I'll put numbers on it. An ion blast, I think, has a small stun chance, right? Yeah, 10% stun chance. 10% there. And then cost on ion blast is 30. Okay. Ion, so heavy ion. There's only a single heavy ion, right? So ion, charge time on heavy ion is 13 seconds. Damage is, we'll put 1 instead of 0.5, and then it's 2 power. And it is a 20% stun chance. 0, 0, and 20. And then heavy ion is 45 scrap. Stunning is an AE mechanic, right? I think so. Yeah, I think I've seen it say stun added in Advanced Edition or whatever. All right, so heavy ion. So then Ion Blast Mark II. Ion. Charge time is 4 seconds. This is 1 damage per, and it's 1 shot per. It's a lot faster, and it's for 3 power. And 0 fire chance, 0 breach, 10% stun, and then cost of 70. And then we got Ion Stunner. Ion. Charge time for this is 10 seconds. Oh, they actually had the ion damage per second on their table too, which is interesting. So 0.5, 1 shot. Power required is 1. And it is 0, 0, and 100% chance to stun. Not 1,000%, 100%. 1,000% stun chance. And 35 cost. Okay. Ion Blast Mark II is 1 ion per shot. Oh, whoops, you're right. Ion Blast Mark II should be 0.15 or 0.5. Ion Blast Mark I should be 0.5. My bad. Thank you. Good catch. 0.5. Nope, that's heavy ion. Damn it. 1. This one should be 0.5. There we go. Only the heavy ion is 1 ion damage there. Okay. Ion Stunner, and then we got Ion Charger. Ion. Full charge is 6 times 3, so that'd be 18. 0.5. 3 shots at 2 power. And has a... Doesn't look like it's got a stun chance on that, and then 50 scrap. 1,000% stun chance is stunning them and their children. Now that would be crazy. Chain Ion. All right, so this guy is a charge time of 14 seconds, and we're going to do it at its max. So this one's going to be a little misleading. It's probably going to show as the best Ion, like the Vulcan showing as the best laser. But its chain is a max of 4. So that's 4 at its max charge, which would be 2. That would be 0.5 times 2. 0.5 times 4 would be 2. So that would be its max, and that's for 3 power. Whoops, no. 1 shot for 3 power. And there is no stun chance on this guy either. Cost 55. So Ion weapon-wise, looking at the numbers, DPS, the best one is Chain Ion fully spun up, but Ion Blast Mark II is just behind it. DPS per power is actually Ion Stunner and Chain Ion being tied, which is actually Ion Blast Mark I is the best for power, but still, that's I don't know that we're going to use numbers really a lot for the Ion weapons. So, okay, is that all the weapons? Not doing boss Ion, of course. We've done bombs, we've done ions, been crystals, beams. Okay. So that's all the weapons. Let me delete. I think that's all of them, right? Do this. So there we have it. There are what, 51 or 2 weapons in the game? Surprised I'm not using Tier Maker. I have no idea what that is, Chikitsune. Never heard of that. So that's why I'm not using it. All right, so what do we want to do with this list now? We want to make rankings on these guys. So would I do it like by... I feel like the way I want to do it is by DPS and just start organizing this thing and see what happens here. Would have made this much easier. Oh, I wish you had told me about that before when I was talking about making this tier list earlier this week. But I've never heard of that. So, all right. So how can I arrange... How would I do like just an arrange things by like DPS? Is there like a short sheet A to Z? The website allows you to make a tier list. Thing about tier makers that it's good for visuals. Okay. Okay, so that goes low to high. If I change this from high to low, Z to A. This actually is giving me the DPS of weapons from best DPS to lowest. So that's pretty interesting. Doesn't have anything for hard numbers like this, though. Okay, so it would look better, but... So that would be if I'm just putting in, this is my favorite weapon, and did no numbers. So, you know what? Can I actually undo? What I want to do is I actually want to color this a little. I don't want to color this. Do I want to color this by like all the S tiers if I'm going to rank it with a color, or should I color it by type? I'm thinking maybe I should color all the lasers the same thing. If I do laser down to here, I think it'll make it visually look a little better if I do something like lasers are green, and then Flacs are, what's the color of their shots? Flacs are kind of gray. And then we got missiles are, I don't know, red. No, beams should be red. Missiles should be, missiles can be, how about like a purple color or something? Purple. Because beams I want to be red since they actually are red. Beams are red. You think the missiles would be yellow? Crystals will be very light blue, I guess, although crystals and ions could look pretty similar. Let's do crystal as like a dark blue. Well, that's kind of hard to read. A little better. Bombs will be, big bombs like green. I don't have a green yet. Nope, I have lasers at green. Whoops. We'll do these guys at like a, I don't know, that color. And then ions will be that light blue because that's kind of what ions look like. You have the link for tier list, maker, FTL, weapon, preset. What? I think your green screen is having some issues with the, oh, you're right. The green doesn't work well with my green screen. Okay. Can you all read that? I don't know if you can read that. For now, I'll change this to not green, but I might change it back. Just have the lasers be like, we'll go like this dark green. How about that? Okay, hopefully that is readable. I don't know how well this is probably all pretty small for you guys anyway. You might not be able to see the numbers very well. So, okay, so I didn't mark all the ones that don't do hull damage. Let me mark all of the things here. So we're gonna do this. Why is it not autofilling? Could you autofill this? Was it this? I don't know why it's not doing it. No hull damage. And we're just gonna copy that. Same for Ion Bomb, Firebomb, Breech Bomb. Basically all the bombs in small, yeah, all the bombs there. I'll leave the ions, but like bombs and fire beams, these guys, yeah, whatever. Okay. It's good to know, organize your thoughts as well. Best weapons you put in an S tier or so. So what I'm going to do now that I have all these weapons colored, now I'm going to organize by DPS, and let's see. Let's look at some numbers. Chain Vulcan, highest DPS in the game at full spin. Holo Beam is second. Glade Beam is third. So that's pretty interesting. Where's Advanced Flak? Advanced Flak is like the fifth or so. So let's find... So Mini Beam is actually below Burst Laser 3 for DPS. That's pretty interesting. Let's go by... I want to look at... Just to look at some other things. Let's look at DPS per power, because I think that's super important too. Best DPS per power in the game is Advanced Flak. Holo Beam is second. The whole weapons, DPS-wise, are actually really good if you're using them at their kind of maximum capacity, I guess. Chain Vulcan, pretty far at the top. Heavy Laser there, really high, too. Tier Maker is nice. Nice. So now, I guess what I got to do is I got to decide what weapons I want to say are S tier. I feel like I want to use DPS as my main decider, and then I will say, with other factors included, what tier I would put it in. So this will be the final thing we do for this thing. So I posted the link. All right, that's cool. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm already on this, and I want to move on to the ship tier list because I want to get this done in the next less than an hour here. So, all right. So how do we want to do this? What do we think are the S tier weapons? Most of the good weapons in the game are kind of lying here at the top. See Halberd Beam, Advanced Flak. Flak 1s, burst laser 2. Ways you use hull laser for max damage and Holo Beam, though. Not a lot of ships where you can hit nothing but empty rooms. Yeah. Well, we took that into our factor when we did the Holo Beam factoid, because we said this is the maximum theoretical amount of damage versus the boss. So that's one reason why this Holo Beam, this is against the boss fight with no shields, because we put it as doing 9 damage against the boss with this setup. So yes, S, A, B, C, D, and F tier. Let's start at the bottom. That's going to be the easiest way. Basically, anything that does no hull damage is F tier. Repair burst. Crystal lockdown is F. Healing burst is F. Stun bomb is F. Small bomb I would not put at bottom tier. Heavy ion, we're going to put... I feel like I can't put heavy ion below these crappy bombs, so I think I'm going to go for maybe D tier. Anything that can, if it can at least get through shields, can at least do something to help you get through shields. I know stun bomb can, but you think C tier for heavy ion? I don't think for heavy ion. Heavy ion is, I think, widely considered the worst ion weapon. I'm going to put that one at D. Some of the other ions I'm probably going to do more at C tier, but I think heavy ion is definitely D tier. Ion charger. Let me see. Let's think about D tier. So D tier would be, F is can't do any hull damage, doesn't help you get through shields. That's kind of what F tier is. D tier would be can't do hull damage, but maybe has something else going for it. So that would be heavy ion. Maybe Breech Bomb 1 I would put at D tier. Where's Breech Bomb? Breech Bomb 1, I think I put a D tier. Charge Ion B. You think Charge Ion's B? Well, I'm kind of leaning towards Ions not being above B tier. So, since they can't do any hull damage. So what else would be, can maybe help you get through shields, but doesn't really have anything else going for it? What's the, maybe the chain, no, Charge Ion? What do y'all think for Charge Ion? I feel like Charge Ion Charger, is that one? The one that can get up to 3 seconds? That's really bad. Doesn't have any stun chance. It's 3 power. Oh, wait, no. What's the one that's 3 power? The 3 power Ion. Chain Ion. So Ion Charger, I think, is better than Chain Ion, right? Stat-wise, Chain Ion is better for DPS, I guess. What do we think is the best ion? It probably is the Ion Charger, right? Because it's flexible. So I'm going to say probably the 2 best ions are Ion Charger and Ion Blast Mark II. I'm going to put those on B, and that's... I might go back down to C, because I don't even think that... I think B might even be too high for any of these, but Chain Ion, I'm going to put that at C, because I feel like it's slightly better than Heavy Ion, because at least eventually it charges up and is useful. Ion Blast Mark 1. I think both the Ion Blast Mark 1 and Ion Stunner are pretty low. I feel like I'd put Ion Stunner above Ion Blast Mark 1. I'm going to put Ion Blast 1 at D, Ion Stunner at C. I think that's what I'm going to do. Ion Stunner slightly better than Ion Blast Mark 1, because early game, this can do stuff. Later on, if you start fires, you can stun people. That's slightly useful. I think Ion Blast 2 should be C, because it's too much power. Well, how would you compare it to the Ion Charger? Because if I was going to choose which ion I wanted, I feel like the synergy of Ion Blast Mark II with other lower power ions and beams makes it similar. I'm gonna leave this. I think these, I don't love either of them because I don't love ions, but if I was going to rank the best ions, I think I'd say Ion Blast Mark II and the Ion Charger. This is confusing me. It should be Charge Ion, I think, not Ion Charger. Charge Ion. You can get 2 decent ion guns or shields are gone. Ion Charger uses less power and can take shields down by itself. Yeah, but it's not as consistent because it's slower. If you look at the DPS of them, Ion Blast Mark II is ahead of it by a decent margin. So it's more likely to keep the shields down. But this one's more flexible. Charge time's more flexible. So I'm going to leave those a B. I think that's fine. How do I want to rate things like Small Bomb, Firebomb, Ion Bomb, and Breech Bomb? I feel like bombs probably shouldn't be above B tier either, because they can't do hull damage. So I'm thinking best bombs are probably going to be B tier, kind of like ion weapons. There is an argument that like some of the breech bombs might be slightly better in certain situations, like when there are no, when the AI is taken over, so you can stop it from repairing. But I think I'm going to go, I think best bombs, I think generally the Breech Bomb 2 is considered one of the best bombs. I'm going to go with that at B tier. You think Breach 2 could be a low A? I'm thinking high B or low A. That's the highest one. I'm going to give it a B tier just because it can't do hull damage. Let's see. What's the second best bomb? Probably Small Bomb's the second best because it does 2 system damage to start fires and is useful for boarding support. So I would put Small Bomb at B tier. Maybe lower B tier than Breech Bomb 2. And then probably the rest, like Ion Bomb is probably C. Breech Bomb 1, I kind of want to put it like D. I already put that at D. What about Firebomb? I feel like you could probably make a case for Firebomb being B tier in certain situations with some boarding support and with some ions or some other fires. Breach 2 does good system damage, stalls repairs, as a system can't be repaired until the breach is fixed. Yeah. A for the fun rating. Yeah, I'm thinking for Firebomb, I'm thinking either high C or low B. Do I think it's as good as Breech Bomb 2 or Small Bomb? I think I'm going to put it at C. Firebomb also gives blue option to capture a ship. Yeah, it's got a couple blue options. I still think it's C. I don't think there's that many bombs you can make a case are some of the higher tier weapons. I think even doing B for Small Bomb and Breech Bomb might be a little high, but okay, let's go still from the bottom. Anti-Biobeam, that's F tier, easy. But you can kill crew, but you can't do anything else with it. Basic laser, let's just kind of go up the list here. Basic laser, Lido. Even though their DPS is not actually that bad compared to some of the other weapons, whoops, I need to make this capital and put caps at lock on for now. I think we still got to put these just low. They can do hull damage, so I don't want to say D. So I'm thinking maybe the lowest we do hull damage weapons is C tier, maybe. So maybe C. D for laser, C for Lido. Would you rank Lido a little bit higher? It does have shield piercing, but it has the drawback of requiring missiles. So I'm going to say they're both about even. I think it's just C. I agree with most of y'all that C for both. You think Lido is B? Good for early system disable? I disagree. I disagree. Because even though the ships that come on, that can be kind of useful, you still run out of missiles. And it's just a missile. So missiles are probably going to all be about a rank or half a rank lower than what you might think because of that. It's fast. I know. You might like it. I'm C is fine. I'm doing C. All right. Crystal Burst Mark 1. That is 2 shots. I feel like this is not bad early game. The charge time to me is what makes this kind of bad. I think Lido is D. I'm not going to do anything that does hull damage below C, I don't think. I think C is going to be my lowest for anything that does hull damage, unless it's just absolutely horrible. You think Lido isn't worth using ammo on? Let's say DPS-wise, this is kind of like a is it one? It's 2 power, right? It's 2 power for 2 shots. It's similar to like a burst laser Mark 2. I'm actually gonna go probably B tier here. I think B tier, not the best lasers, but not bad. D tier for you on the Lido. Okay. Right, Swarm Missile. DPS per power is actually pretty darn low. Swarm Missile. I think the 2 best missiles are Pegasus and Swarm. What's the highest I want to go for missiles? I feel like even going A tier for missiles feels generous because running out of missiles is so bad. I think the highest I want to rate missiles is B. Because of limit ammo. So I think I'm going to go with B. Mid B. I would say high B. Probably high B tier. Let's go with high B. Well, I'm not putting like B plus or B minus. I guess I could put pluses and minuses, but Artemis is Swarmer best. Oh, Artemis is pretty good though, actually. Yeah, so we'll probably put Artemis on B tier too as well. All right, Firebeam. Now Firebeam can be very useful. It doesn't do hull damage, and it's slow. And those are my two things that kind of ruin it from being higher. I feel like I don't know if I can go above C tier on this, honestly. I don't think I can go above C. I know in certain situations is really good. I think C is like a good middle ground. Because against the boss, it actually can be very effective. You think D? I'm going to say low C. I think it's a low C tier. Maybe be in the right build for you, Factoid. Okay. All right, Heavy Crystal Mark 1. This one I actually like better than the Charge because it's got the Breach and the Stun. I think I want Heavy Crystal to be above the Crystal Burst, which was B. Do I think it's good enough to be A tier? I think this might be a low A tier weapon. It's like a slightly crappier heavy laser because it's slower. I think I will go with Heavy Crystal Mark 1 as an A tier. That's our first A tier we've looked at, huh? Yeah. Heavy Crystal's pretty darn good, so I'm going to go with that. Firebeam is fun and can keep a ship down, but you need other guns to help it, yeah. Use it against rocks, fantastic with rock boarding, yeah. All right, Charge Laser 1. This is the one that's the 2-power one, right? So 2 power for 2 damage. I want this to be probably similar as that, what was it, the Charge. I'm thinking Charged Laser 1, Burst Laser Mark 1, those. I think I'm going to put those all at B tier because there's much better lasers out there. You're saying D? I don't think it's D because at least one thing, it's fast and it's flexible. So I'm going to say Charge Laser 1's not the worst. I'm going to say B. Maybe low B, high C, but I would rather have it than a Firebeam. So Crystal Burst Mark II, this is a weapon that I like never use. Your beef with heavy crystals that it can't pair with beams well because it will never take the last shield bubble down. Well, unless you get a bunch of breaches and they can't repair it in time. But I see what you're saying, yeah. It can at least be one shield unlike base laser. You think Charge Laser 1 should be C? I would say high C or low B. But what I'm doing is I'm thinking Charge Laser, Burst Laser 1, and Crystal Burst Mark 1 are about the same for me. And I'm going to put those all at kind of low B tier. All right, Crystal Burst Mark 2, 17 seconds, 3 shots for 3 power. It's the most rare weapon in the game. And with how rare it is, its stats are pretty abysmal. I kind of want to put F tier, but I said I wasn't going to put anything that actually does hull damage in F tier. So what's the lowest I said I would do hull damage? C? I'm going to do C. If it's the most rare weapon in the game, C for Crystal. That's right. There you go. C for Crystal. That's what it is. Charge Laser basically the same as Burst Laser 1 stat-wise, and it's technically a little more flexible. Right, yeah. All right, Breach Missile. So 4 damage, but the slow charge time is what kills this one. DPS per power is pretty darn low too. What am I doing for breach missiles? I don't think it's the worst missile. Do I? What do I think is the worst missile? Missiles are the purple ones. Lido is probably one of the worst, and I put it at C. This is either low B or high C. I think every missile that's not one of the better missiles, I'm just gonna put at C. I don't like breach. Is C or D for you? I'm not, again, I don't think I'm doing anything, or did I say D? I could do D for, I didn't think I was going to do anything below C that can actually do hull damage. So let's look at the missiles. I think it'll be easier to do this way. Artemis. So probably best missile is the 1 power Artemis. So we're going to do B. Pegasus. It's actually damage per power is not that good, but what it is good against is for the fact that it's a missile that can get past defense drones. I think the 3 best missiles are probably Pegasus, Artemis, and Swarm Missile. So I'm going to do that at B. Hermes, 3 damage, but it's 3 power. I'm going to just do C. Hull Missile can do more, but it's slow. C. I'm basically doing all missiles at C except for the 3 best, which are Artemis, Pegasus, and Swarm. That's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, lull missiles. Crystal Burst is all right if you can get it for free, but not worth paying for. Takes forever to fire, can't be dodged, can be shot down by defense drones. Yeah, a lot of negatives. That's why no missile is above B. Basically, the best missiles are the ones that have a way to counter the defense drones, or the one that's super strong early, the 1 damage or 1 power for 2 damage. All right, Burst Laser Mark 1. I think we were saying those B. That's the same as Charge Laser. Yeah, that's B. Charge Laser 2. Here's an interesting one. 3 power for 4 shots. It's actually, what is this rated by? By DPS we have this up. It's actually a pretty good DPS weapon. Not terrible. You think that's A tier? I'm thinking A or B. Oh, wait, I skipped one. Laser Charger Plus. This one's definitely got to be A tier. Anything that's 1 damage for 2 shots has to be at least A tier. I think I'm only going to have like 2 or 3 weapons at S tier, honestly. And I don't think this is one of them. So I think Laser Charger A. Charge Laser 2, though. 3 power for 4 shots. 3 power for 4 shots. It's a little slow, but it is flexible. I'm thinking A tier. You think it's double A? Oh, Laser Charger plus double A. We could do like a double A and then the double A. That's not a bad idea. We could have like a double A and then S, or we could have A then S plus or something. How do we want to do it? Let's go double A on Laser Charger and the other one. What's the other one? The what's the one that's 1 power for 2 shots? Dual lasers. Dual lasers, definitely double A. You think it should be S and S plus? All right, let's do S and S plus then. Do S and S plus. So we'll do Laser Charger. We'll do it. Then do I want this to be S? Yeah, I'll probably do this S. S. And then Heavy Pierce. This is basically a slightly slower heavy laser. I feel like Heavy Pierce is kind of similar to these guys, that it's kind of S tier. The Pierce is actually, I'm a little on the fence with, because piercing shields is great, except for when you actually want to get through the shields with beams. I think I'm going to go with A on this one. Is anything going to get an E rank? Oh, did I skip E? I completely skipped E. No, we're going A, B, C, D, F, like grades in school. That's what we're doing. Okay. Well, no, because some of these, like the Hole Smashers, I'm not giving all S tiers up here. I'm not giving all S tiers. These, even though they're DPS is high, there are other things I'm going to rate it lower. Like Chain Burst Laser and stuff is not going to be S. All right, Heavy Crystal Mark 2. 4 damage, 1 shot, 3 power. This is the, what was this? This is like similar rarity as the other one. So we're going to do C for, it's just too rare. All right, Heavy Laser Mark 1. What is going to be my SS? What's my double S? It's going to be Advanced Flak and maybe one other weapon, maybe. So let's go S tier on Heavy Laser. You think Heavy 2 is probably D? What, Heavy 2? What? No, I'm not going to do an A plus rank. I'm going to do an S and then an S plus. What I'm going to do. All right, Burst Laser 2. S, definitely S. We're going to have a lot of S's. In this probably then. Mini Beam. I'm going to say S. You think Heavy Laser should be S plus? I might go to S plus on Heavy Laser. I might. Let me compare to what we're getting up to. Burst Laser 3. Even though its DPS is actually quite high, what's the lowest you can rank a weapon that does hull damage? Did we say T? C? T rank. C, I think. Burst Laser 3 is not an A tier. Definitely not an A tier. Not even a B tier. It's too slow. I know it's got high DPS, but its DPS per power is abysmal. If I change this current thing to where DPS per power, it is like one of the worst. Actually, one of the worst. So we're going with C. All right, Chain Burst. Now this one's interesting. At full charge, it's actually pretty good DPS. So I kind of want to rank it higher than Burst Laser 1s and Charge Lasers, but I don't know if I want to go A tier on this. I kind of want to go high B. Yeah, heavy laser can be bought and fit in any build. Yeah, I might change it to S+. Kind of what I'm doing is I'm going to go S and then decide like 1 or 2 weapons that get the S+ tier, I think. But chain burst laser. I don't have a lot of A's. Do I think this fits into A? I think this might actually be A. I think this might be the best 2-shot weapon besides the laser charger. I think I might actually give this an A ranking. It's pretty versatile. Well, what's good about it is it's kind of like Vulcan. It's better the longer the fight goes. And it works decently well with other things. So I think A fits. How about Hole Smasher 1? I kind of want to go by the rankings and then go down a ranking because I don't want to actually fire at empty rooms, which is what is giving it the good stats it's giving. Short fights are better, though. That's true. I think you could make a case for Chain Burst Laser being like B tier. I would say it's either high B or low to mid A. I think it's pretty good because in most cases I'd want it more for the boss. Again, we're talking about boss fight. I'd want that over Burst Laser 1. Hole Smasher, I'm thinking probably stat-wise, it should be A tier because it can do good DPS. But I'm going to say it's high B tier because I don't like to use it optimally. I like to use it to shoot shields and stuff. Heavy Laser 2, I think, is better, though. Flak 1, it's got to be S tier. Got to be S tier. I don't think I can do S plus because there's an advanced Flak, but we're going to do S tier for that. Heavy Laser 2. How do we compare this with Heavy Laser 1? It's actually stat-wise better than Heavy Laser 1, I think. So where's the Heavy Laser 1? Heavy Laser 1 is 0.22 DPS. It's 0.31. It's a pretty big jump in DPS over Heavy Laser 1. DPS per power, it is not as good, though. So do we put it on the same rank as Heavy Laser 1? You think it's double S? I don't think this is double S. I don't think so. It's because of the DPS per power that I'm thinking, which would I rather have on the boss? There's two things that are making me not think it's that much better. Slightly slower charge time and the DPS per power. I think I go S. You think high A? Heavy Laser 2 is not as flexible? I think this might be like the bottom of the S tier right here. I think it's bottom of S tier. We'll see how many S's we have, and then we might adjust some things. All right, Flak 2. Hate it. Even though stat-wise, DPS-wise, is actually really good. I feel like this one we have to say it's stat-wise, DPS-wise, it's good. Damage for power-wise, it's pretty bad. And it's not nearly as flexible. I feel like I want to go with B tier here. You think C? You think C like Burst Laser 3? I think this has more applications that are useful than the Burst Laser 3, honestly. I would put it above Burst Laser 3 because if I had to choose between those two weapons pre-ignited, I would want Flak 2 because it works better with beam weapons. So I'm going to go with B tier, which is probably higher than some people might think I'd rate it, but there are situations where it's actually really good, but there's a lot of situations where it's just too slow. So I think B is good. Pike Beam. I'd say Pike Beam is a solid weapon. I don't think it's S tier. I don't have a lot of A tiers. I'm thinking this might actually be A tier, though. I think it's mid to high A. Maybe mid to high A. I think A tier. Advanced Flak, 100%. It's got to be SS. It's the best weapon in the game. Hole Smasher, that's no discussion needed. Highest, second highest DPS per power, and one of the highest just straight up DPS weapons in the game. It's just insane. Okay, so Hole Smasher 2. This, I think I might actually rate slightly higher than the Hole Smasher 1, just because the extra shot is pretty useful. And if you actually shoot empty rooms, that's 6 damage from 3 power. I think I might actually... Did I do B tier on Hole Smasher? I think I might actually do A tier on this. I think low A is good. I think low A is good on Hole Smasher 2. Halberd Beam, definitely S, but is it S plus? Is it my other SS? I think I might want to call this the other SS. Halberd Beam is just so good in so many different situations. It's good with no other weapons. If you have hacking, it's good with Flacs. It's good with lasers. I think that might be the other double S thing I do here. I think Halberd Beam, which I would, and I think I agree with myself, that is better than Mini Beam. You think it has to be SS? I think so too. Glaive, I think a lot of people might do S tier. I think I have to do A tier because of the charge time. It's kind of like Flak 2. Maybe even B tier here. It's kind of like Flak 2 where it's so good with pre-igniter, but without pre-igniter, it's not. Is A too high? Is A too high is actually my question. Should it be B? Would I rather have a Glade Beam or a Flak 2? You think it's A? All right, let's go with A. I think A is good. You think better? Like Glaive is better than Flak 2 due to less RNG? Glaive can get through 2 shields. It's not versatile but strong. Yeah, I think that's a good argument for A. It's strong but it's not versatile. Holo Beam, even though it has a theoretical really high DPS, I don't think it deserves to be. I think it's similar to Pike Beam. I think maybe I would put Holo Beam right above Pike Beam actually, because it's more damage. Doesn't hit as many rooms, but it can be more damage. I think A is good for Holo Beam. You think B for the Glaive for you? Too many salty stealth B runs? Yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind. But I think there are situations where it's strong enough that I think A is fair. Now here's probably going to be the most controversial one. Where do we put Chain Vulcan? Lots of people do not like it. Stat-wise, fully spun up, it is the highest DPS weapon in the game by a huge margin, which I am pretty surprised about, actually. I did not expect Vulcan to be the highest DPS weapon. You only think B? Oh, gosh. I think I am going to disagree with a lot of you people. You think it's too hard to get a value out of? I disagree. I am actually thinking A or S tier on Chain Vulcan. I know it's a long time to spin up. I know. And this is where probably a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I'm going to say it's at least A. I'm actually thinking about if it's S. Solo Vulcan is unusable? 100% disagree with you. 100% disagree with you. I think Vulcan is the only weapon in the game by itself that can kill the boss. Is that true? There was some other weapon that I was thinking about the other day. I think it's the only weapon in the game without any support that can kill the boss. You think S is too high for how long it charges up? Sidvidius, my argument would be, what's the most important fight in the game? What's the hardest fight in the game? Usually it's the boss. Where is this strongest? On the boss fight. Yeah, if you exclude hacking, I think this is the only weapon in the game that can actually kill 4 shield ships. I think I'm gonna go S. I don't think I can go SS on this, but I think this can be a low S tier. I honestly think Chain Vulcan is S, and I know a lot of people probably rate it lower, but to me, because of how good it is against the boss, I think it deserves S tier. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to order this by the tier ranking, and I might want to recolor this thing. Because we have everything's good here. So I want to actually kind of look at our ranking and see if I agree after I put everything kind of in order. So how would I do that? Problem is S isn't going to be over A when I go A to Z. So how am I going to do this? Vulcan's high A for you. I can understand people ranking it lower than me. I do A to Z, then that puts S at the end. Now I could use the tier list maker for visuals. Assign numbers. How would I do that? Okay, so if I put a 1, if I put a 1 in front of these S's, would that do it? Like, and a 2 in front of these guys? I have a lot of S tier. I might need to do less S tiers. 2. How to do this to make it do what I want it to do. I don't know if this is going to work. 2. I think this might work. If I do this by number, it might do it. Probably need to get rid of a couple S's. I have too many S tier weapons. Again, I'm not the best at making spreadsheets. Okay, what happens if I do that? Will that do what I want it to do? There we go. Okay. So how many S tier weapons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have eight S tier weapons. It's probably too many, so I probably need to lower a couple of these guys. In theory, Flak 2 and Burst 3 can go through Force Shields 2. Oh, that was the thing. Flak 2. Flak 2 was the only other one. Flak 2 and Vulcan are the only two weapons that can theoretically kill the boss on their own without any support. Be very slow with Flak 2, but it could do it because it can get through the shields. Burst Laser 3, yes, but you have to hit every shot. It's a lot less likely. 5 shots compared to 7. So, anyway, that's not the discussion I want to have. I feel like I have too many S tier weapons. What's the weakest of the S tier weapons? I almost want to lower Dual Lasers Laser Charger to A tier, honestly. Yeah, it technically can do it. So there's three weapons technically that can theoretically do it. I feel like, do y'all think that there are this many S tier weapons? I don't know. I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what? I think I want to do it this way because you can't buy the laser charger or the dual lasers. I'm going to lower them by 1 rank. Now, some people might think that's disingenuous. But because you actually can only get them on the ship you start with, I think that's worth lowering a tier. Now, you might think the same for Mini Beam, too. You don't like Laser Charger 2? What's in... we have Laser Charger 2 at A tier. Now I have too many A's? I think A is fine. I don't think I have too many A's. I wish I could rank them like high. You know what? Maybe I do at plus and minus. Okay, you know what? We're not going to get the ship tier list today. We're going to do a couple more changes to this. Let's do plus and minus. I think that's going to be a way to do this. So what are the best A tier weapons then? The ones we just lowered would be the best. So let's do dual lasers or A plus. Laser charger A plus. Numerous of the S tier guns cannot be found. Only the mini beam and the advanced flak. Those are the only two that you can't get that are in S or S plus or the triple double S whatever. Which other ones do I think are A pluses? That might actually be the only ones. Maybe Hole Smasher 2 or Pike Beam might be A pluses. If I go... So I like the 3 shots. And if I do that, I need to do Holo Beam. So how many A pluses does that give us? It gives like 4 A pluses. Okay, hopefully this will do what I want it to do. A to Z. That puts the pluses on the bottom. Damn. So that's 5 A pluses with 5 not A pluses. Ugh. Okay, let's do it this way then. Instead of these being A plus, let's have the other ones just be A minus. That'll just be for format's sake, make it better. I hit minus. Sorry. Sorry, I hit minus. It's my bad. Okay. I think that's good. Let's look at our B tier. No, I'm not muted. I fixed it. Sorry. Don't want to do any minuses anywhere else. Yeah, I know. Minus. I need to use the other minus button. The one that's not on my keypad or whatever. All right. So look at B. Flak 2, or I feel like I could put. I kind of want to do pluses here, but pluses means it's not going to line up the way I want it to. Let me see. Your mentality with ranking guns is how much they are worth buying if found in shops or as drops. Yeah. I think I might just leave it here. There are probably things you could do, changes you could make in like the B tier. Like I think Artemis could go at the top of the B tier. And some of these other weapons could go at the bottom. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think I'm pretty happy with this. This, let me take away, but keep the, let me check something. If I get rid of the 2, hold on. Hello, game. Hello, thing. Let me change this. What's happening? Why are you, what is this shit? Let me type. Thank you. I want to take away the 2 and see if it stays below the 1 here. So A to Z, it does. Okay, so I'm going to take away the 2 in all these guys. So that's just S, and then we have 1 SS for the top ones. Okay. So there we go. So we have the 2 S tier weapons as Advanced Flak and Halberd Beam. Do I like that? I think so. I think that's good. Halberd Beam, Advanced Flak, probably the 2 best weapons of the game. Halberd Beam actually has higher DPS than Advanced Flak. Advanced Flak has the highest DPS per power apart from fully spun up Vulcan. Actually, it is higher DPS per power than Vulcan, which is interesting. Chain Vulcan, highest DPS in the game. Okay. All right, I like it. Let me do... let me see. Do I want to do anything else with this? This video has gone way longer. I didn't think it would take me 2 hours to create this tier list, but I guess just formatting and all that stuff took a long time. So I think what I'm going to do is I actually started the ship tier list. This won't take nearly as long. I just don't know that I have time to do it now. You know, maybe I have time. Let's do it.